Hi everyone. So we're back again with another segment on color code and how it can enhance your life. Now this is going to be a fun one because I've gotten lots of questions from people. When you write in hashtag Ask Dr. Hartman, I love these questions and I love to be able to connect to you individually and apply this in your life today. So let's talk about some of the questions I received. So there's one, all you blues will love this. A blue heard the rendition I did on blues. And she said, I had to go to work the next day and apologize to everybody because I was so blue. I just felt so awful about myself. Why is that? Well, you know, it's true. When I first did the DVD series, I did the DVDs on reds, blues, whites, and yellows. And they were a separate segment. Every time I showed the blue DVD, I would have somebody come up and complain that there were more negative things than positive things about blues. Honest truth, there were exactly the same number of positives for red, blue, white, and yellow as there were negative for red, blue, white, and yellow, but blues heard the negative. By nature, blues tend to hear what's wrong with them, not what's right with them. When you take the character code profile, for example, blues almost always have more negative checks on the negative areas than they do on the positive areas. That's really not the truth, by the way. That's a bias blues have. Blues struggle with accepting that you're really good enough, that you are great. So when you hear me giving you feedback about yourself, always know that you have a lens that's going to taint things negatively. And that's your job then to kind of make it real. Don't make it a bias that you're inadequate or that someone's putting you down, or don't take it so personal that you can't then step up and enhance what you've learned by making it real. What is really the truth about what I'm saying? Are you really those good things as well as those negative things? Don't balance it negatively against yourself. And by the way, if you want to come apologize to the blue, that's fine. We're all happy to hear that, but we love you and we need you and we appreciate you, and no one will ever be harder on you than yourself. In fact, I just read a quote, it was really great for blues. It's like, never underestimate another person's ability to disappoint you. So, for this new year, probably one of the best things I would recommend to you blues is just blow some things off, let some things go that you know you would have gotten stuck for before, and don't take it personally. Okay, another one was, as a red, how do I work on becoming more vulnerable? Now, I love this question because it shows humility. Red people, their greatest asset after they use their core power, which is getting things done, moving from A to B, is that they could learn to allow people to know them, to feel them in their vulnerability. And how you become vulnerable is you share things that concern you. Not in critically judging others, but in looking at yourself and sharing flaws, inadequacies, concerns, things that make you human, instead of just mechanical and getting things done. Think about something that might make you feel uncomfortable, but would illuminate more about who you are as a person. That's the kind of thing that if Reds can do that, they win hearts, and that makes them much more effective as a leader as well. Not an easy thing for a Red to do, but a very important aspect of becoming charactered as a Red. Another question I got that was really great is, how do I deal with the obsessions of a yellow? Well, yellows are so obsessed with certain things for a short period of time, and then they move on. They actually are, I worry about yellows, they get addicted, or they get too crazy with their obsessions, because if you give them enough rope, they'll hang themselves. So you need to structure it so they have some kind of accountability and responsibility along the way. You can't just let them run free. For example, watching DVDs or playing video games. If you never set a time limit or hold accountability, make them do other kinds of activities that go outside or that kind of thing, you'll find that yellows will literally waste away an entire day. So structure is the key for helping yellows overcome obsessions. Okay, another one, I'm a blue mom and I have a red daughter. Any insights on parenting my oldest daughter who is red? First of all, this is one of the hardest blends by nature. The reason for that is Reds don't show their vulnerability. They don't want the blue mom to know they're inadequate. So the blue mom hammers the red child to make sure she got her pound of flesh, to make sure she made her point clear. She doesn't realize that the red is already feeling inadequate, just doesn't show it, doesn't say it. So the first thing you need to remember as a blue mom is to tell your red daughter what's right about her, what you appreciate about her, what you value in her. Number 2 is understand that as a red, she thinks she knows. So it's okay for her to make some choices, make some mistakes. Don't always make her have to live life like you do. She'd rather make mistakes on her own than do everything right the first time. And as a blue, you can't understand that. You think it makes no sense to allow somebody to make mistakes when you can help them do the right thing first. But having a red daughter means you have to let them grow in their own way, as well as giving them good insight and loving them. Letting them know that regardless of what they are like or what they do, you will always love and adore them. And point out specific things about them you enjoy. Another one, my whole family is whites. Parents, sisters. I'm a blue. It's so hard to fight with whites. If I want to discuss something, they take it as conflict and are always huffy and offended. What am I supposed to do? Well, first of all, good luck. I mean, if they're all, I remember this one family I worked with, they were all whites, and they had the best time together. They would go to lunch, they could sit there and say nothing for an hour, and they loved lunch. When they brought their significant others, all the significant others were bored to tears. They said, I hate lunch with your family. Nothing goes on. And all the siblings go, isn't that great? That's the way we love it. So the reality is that as a blue, you're probably not going to find your intimate connections, unfortunately, with your sisters and your parents. What you're going to find is a comfort zone of them being genuine and legitimate and showing up for things, but they're probably not going to want to have deep debate or heart-to-heart talks like you would like to have. So unfortunately, you're not going to find that necessarily from them, except one of the things you can remember is with whites, if you're not kind, they go crazy. So if you need to share things from your heart, it's probably better to say, I want to share some emotional things that maybe make you uncomfortable, but I need to share them with someone I trust, and I trust you. Because whites are very good at receiving information and not judging. They're remarkably good at that. But you have to take it out of the area of conflict and tell them the conflict is yours, not theirs, and not between the two of you. And just share with them, I need to be able to say some things that matter to me. It'll make me so much more appreciative if you'd be willing to receive some of those, instead of always seeing them as conflict and negative. So here's another great one. I really like this one. Can learning how to talk to a significant other's color conquer differing opinions on faith? Now we're getting into kind of religious matters and spiritual matters, and I love this piece, because the truth is our faith is very emotionally rooted and grounded. So learning to make someone feel comfortable in their own faith is an important trait in building a relationship, especially if you share different views on faith or on religion. The worst thing you can do is make the other person feel inadequate or wrong because they're different. You know, what you talk about is what you have right, what's going on for you that's good, why you enjoy being with each other, but then you also need to be able to say, help me understand how you see this. Help me understand why this matters so much for you. Help me understand how my believing the way I do offends you, makes it difficult for you. I love you and the relationship more than I love being right about whatever it is I'm believing. But I want to be able to maintain my faith and a relationship with you. I can assure you that if you talk to a white about their faith and you do it as though they're a red, you'll shut them down before you even get to the issues of faith. Also with yellows, for example, if you're too controlling and very, very preachy, you'll lose them before you even started to get into the faith piece. So it's very critical you think about who is the person I'm talking to in their personality before you worry about what principles of faith you're discussing. To believe that because you have a certain faith and can overpower somebody, regardless of their personality, is just a big mistake to make. It'll block any kind of effective communication you could ever hope to have. Okay, that was a couple for today. Good luck. Enjoy the color code. Send me more questions. #AskDrHartman.